think there is also a lot of information that you get on social media, right? So if you don't use a particular kind of a white noise putting your child to sleep, your child will not sleep. If the child doesn't sleep next to you at night, then the child will develop, uh, I don't know, trust issues later. And you hear a lot of these different things, right? Um, and at the same time, you do come with your own set
Agree.
of um, childhood challenges, right? Like what you've seen your parents do. So you start by saying, "ये तो मैं नहीं करूँगी." You know, I will not do what my parents did. Okay, but I don't know what to do. So then you lean on what's available on social media. You pick a lot of that information, and you make a mix and mash of it because some of it is still coming through DNA, some of it is still coming through social media, and you're like made one khichdi out of that. How do you deal with some of these things, and how do you figure out, because not everyone's aware of what is right for me and what's the right parenting style for me? I think it
Yeah.
starts with there. But how do you deal with all of this information overload?
Uh, so let me tell you that the answer which I'm going to give you right now is actually coming out from the long question you asked. It's right inside the answer. The answer
Okay.
is right there in the question. So if you notice one thing, in the entire the question you framed, you were talking about all the ways and this and that and this and that. One thing was completely missing in the entire narration. One thing,
Hmm. Which is the parent
the child.
herself. Hmm. The
So,
child.
and this is a question I've asked a lot of people. So, for example, I told them that if your child wasn't born in your house and Vanya, my daughter, was born, would you have changed your parenting? Would your parenting still come from my mom said this I will do, this will I not do, this guy is saying this, I believe in this, I believe in that. Whatever you just narrated, you will still do exactly the
Hmm.
same with Vanya.
Hmm.
Think, one child, you did exactly the same. Second child, you did exactly the same. The children are different. What is missing in your entire narration is the child.
Hmm.
What
It's
does the child need?
it's focused on
Yeah.
me. Hmm.
And when I don't know, then I
Hmm.
will bank on something. So whatever people are saying on the internet, the people are saying, touch them, sleep with them, do this, feed them like this, don't feed them like this, are, I won't say 100% because there would be people who are thinking about it, but most of these advices are coming from my personal experience. I did this with my child, he started eating. I did this with my child, he's very connected. I didn't do this, he's not connected. But that's your child, not others. And every human being, in their thoughts, in their feelings, in their taste, you name it, are different. Something which works for me and my child may not work at all between you and your child. And if you start reading my article saying this is Sushant did it as a son, I will do that because he's a parent coach. I would say you will fail and it will be a disaster. Please don't photocopy. It's not possible. The whole game is about understanding the child. And once you understand the child, it's simple. It's not about you.
But how do you understand a child who's like very young, right? Like a 10-month-old or a 1 year. I mean, I would say a 2-year-old still starts expressing with
The first two
words
years,
and
leave
with.
it. First 2 years is purely, if you really ask me, all medical, all health based, all getting
Okay.
them to make sure that they've done their milestones, the voice is there, they're talking, they're walking, the narration is there. Because you're giving vaccinations, you're making sure they're protected, you're cleaning them up, you're feeding them up. Because first 2 years is purely about, if you really ask me, survival. That's the word. People may not like that word, but a
Okay.
human, I think the human child is the only offspring which, if not taken care of in first 2 years, will die.
Isn't that true for
They
animals too?
run because if they don't run, they will die. The human being starts to
Yeah.
even walk after a year.
After a year. Yeah. I mean, they take a
They
long
have to be
time to
taken care of.
actually
You have to
get
be
to a.
cleaned up. A dog doesn't need to be cleaned up.
Hmm. Yeah.
A giraffe's child is born and they start running in a few minutes. They
Running
have to
with it.
because they'll be caught and eaten up. So
Hmm.
they need to be taken care of in that sense. Human beings have to be taken care of in that sense, otherwise they'll die. So first 2 years is purely survival. Do
Hmm.
that. Don't worry about anything else. At least make sure you're not shouting, you're not fighting,
Hmm.
you're not hitting a small child to a road. Just take care of those things. That's it.
Oh my God, if you are,
There are
then
people.
that's,
There are people who are
that's a
doing that.
difference.
I know exceptions, but these are not exceptions. These are not rare.
Yeah.
It's happening. Plus, try and make sure that there's no toxicity around. When there's toxicity around, then obviously it'll impact a 2 year old.
So explain this, sorry, a little. What do you mean by
Toxicity around is
toxicity
that, for
around?
example, if in the family there's fighting happening. So, for example, a child is born in
Okay.
Afghanistan, a child is born in Israel right now, or a child is born in Palestine right now.
Hmm.
That's toxicity.
Right. Yeah.
They'll get in,
Correct.
whether you like it or not. They're breathing it.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about that. So there
Okay.
is fights happening, abusing happening, beating up happening between parents or that stuff. The mind is listening to it. Okay, so that will automatically go. I'm talking
Is
about that kind of a
absorbing
toxicity.
it.
The first 2 years, just take care of that if you can. Even if you can't, the nurturing later can actually undo it also. Beyond three, beyond two, 2.5, when a child has started walking, talking. So I'll take an example to explain this, okay? And I think you took an example right at the start. कि खिलाना है तो मार के खिला दो या screen दे के खिला दो. Get it to eat. Now,
Correct.
I'll take this example and hope this will open up a lot of stuff for even people who will be listening to this. Is eating. So eating, breathing, and water. So food, water, and air. These are three survival needs, right? Even a newborn child who doesn't understand anything will cry for these. Breathing is automatic. If you don't get water, they'll cry. If they don't get food, they'll cry. So even they, it's not cognitive. It's not thinking. It's my bodily need. It need comes from nature that I will seek it. Right. So whose need is it to eat? Yours or the child's?
A child's.
But 99.99% parents have made it their need that I have to feed. And if you made it your need, your job, then it's your job. मेरे को खिलाना है अरे कोई I'll tell you simple. Even a 2 year old, when you're having food at the table, lay a separate plate for them. Say, this is your food. Eat it or leave it. If you don't want to eat it, go sleep. What do you think will happen?
If the child is
They will
throwing
throw
a
a tantrum. Oh,
tantrum, the
tantrum they
first
will
day they
also.
will.
Not a tantrum. You go to your own house,
Yeah.
your dad will be throwing a tantrum on food right now. Check it out. And
Everyone's
dad
throwing
still,
a
at 80,
tantrum
he
for
throws a
food.
tantrum. When the food doesn't have enough spice in it, he'll throw a tantrum. मेरे को नहीं खाना,
हाँ.
भड़ाम करके चले जाएंगे. उठ के he's 80. तो
So
टैंट्रम होगा. ये
I
बड़ा खाना खाना खा सो
I
जा सो जा.
do so I do believe, I mean, because my mom has done this on me, so I
It's not a
know that
belief.
this tactic
Listen,
did
it's not a
work.
belief. They have to eat because it is not a
Yeah.
cognitive behavior. It doesn't come from your brain. It's a survival instinct of a living organism. Even a plant who doesn't get sunlight moves towards the sunlight. They shift their way. They can't walk, but they will turn. You put this bit of sugar on the top of your refrigerator. The ant will find it.
And will walk towards it.
So just Take an example. It's not your
But
job. It's
I,
their job. Just leave it, then take it. And it's a guarantee they will take it. Because that's how nature is. And when you start feeding them, you actually start to go against the nature. And when you start going against nature, that's where the trouble starts. And I just took up one example. So
but
this is cuts across everything.
I have a question on this because I do see kids around me and parents struggling and kids struggling and all of that and fights happening and everyone's, tempers flaring, all of that's happening. Um, when a child is slightly older, let's say 7 or 8 or so on, right? And they still are throwing in a tantrum of what they want to eat or they don't want to eat, and whatever you've made, they don't want to eat at that age. Usually they end up also having access to different things, right? So we do see them going and opening a packet of chips and eating a packet of chips, or going and eating like a box of cookies and eating that and filling themselves in. So today maybe the and then therefore the whole question of, are you eating right, are you, nutrition and all of that, and are you just living on junk, or the only thing that I will eat is french fries. So how do you kind of deal with it, or is it something that if you is it something that needs to be built in as a habit when you're much younger? Just a random question that based on some experiences I've
I
seen.
hope you can see the sarcasm in my laughter.
Yeah. You can. That's why I was like, okay, I don't know
The
if I'm
question is
asking the right
absolutely right.
question, but let me ask
Why I was
it.
laughing and like it's really trickling me right now uh, is because this is everybody's question. And you're right.
Hmm.
Everybody is struggling. Specifically last 15, 20 years from the time the whole concept of junk food came in. And
Hmm.
everywhere the advertisements and everything is about junk, yeah. There's no
Hmm.
advertisement of good food ever. Only about pizzas and
Yeah.
cheese and all that. It's always like
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
So, a question to you, and a question to every parent here: who bought the chip home? Who bought those cookies home? Why? And by the way, if I ask them, is it damaging for you? Everybody knows yes.
Yeah.
Should you eat it? The answer is no. Then why are you keeping it at home? If you remember our times, what was kept at home? Yeah, the fruits were there, home cooked
Makhana.
cookies were there, the mattis and the pinnies what mom used to drink or your grandmom used to cook, वो पड़े होते थे, वो नहीं
Correct.
पड़े होते थे,
Yeah.
हम दूध पी लेते थे,
Correct.
हम भूख तो लगती है, तो केला पड़ा, केला खा लिया. अब सामने
Kela
चिप्स
kha
पड़े,
liya.
चॉकलेट पड़ी है. Now if a chocolate is lying there,
Hmm.
or a packet of chips is lying there, or a bottle of coke is lying there, and you have a fruit lying there, what would you pick? Yeah, let alone a child. Your hand will go to a chips packet. A Coke bottle will give you
Yeah.
energy like this, and you'll pick up and drink it off, and it'll be nice. You'll feel good. It'll give you energy, and you're back. कौन अब एक अनार छीलेगा, 15 मिनट लगाएगा और कचरा फेंकेगा, हाथ गंदा करेगा? छोड़ यार.
Yeah.
Don't have
I
it.
agree.
Simple. People say, "Oh, my child orders it from Swiggy." Who pays for it? I okay. I been there, and my child orders from Swiggy, and this guy comes and delivers and say, "Paise." And say, ask him. Blacklist him, boss, if he's not paying. If you want to still give it to him for free, give it to him and go. What will he do? He'll take the money back, he'll take the stuff back, and he'll blacklist her. Thank
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
Who needs to pay for
Hmm.
it? Why?
Hmm.
So you are feeding, you're providing the access of slow poison. Because it's not poison, it'll take time for them to spoil their health, their mental health, their
Yeah.
physical health. It will destroy it. It'll destroy your immunity, it's destroying their immunity. It's destroying their
Correct.
body, it's
Yeah.
destroying their body. There is deficiency of
Yeah.
calcium, deficiency of this, deficiency of that. We never had it yet.
Everything that you can
Our
think
parents still don't have it. So
of.
all those will come. It's a slow poison. So you are creating an access to feed your own child with slow poison. And I'm using this line because I want people to listen to this and get scared so that they stop it. So the question started from motherhood and working together and career, but
And it
it's a
went to.
critical point. If, for example, मुझे
Yeah.
बच्चों को खिलाना है, oh no, only this is lying at home and you're at office, I can guarantee you they'll eat. You don't have to be bothered because it's not available. They will eat on their own.
Yeah. One day they will not eat, 2 days they'll
Yeah,
not eat, third day
two
they
days
will
भी नहीं
eat.
होगा ना, you can't survive. Yeah, you will get.
Can't
And why are
survive.
they getting cranky?
That's
They're
true.
getting cranky not because they're not getting the other food. They're getting cranky because they're hungry, and
Hungry.
nobody can. So if you have food out there and you're hungry, you will eat it, whether you like it or not. Because your body will crave for it, it cannot survive without it. It will pick it up and have it.
So when we, so these are some of the typical questions that even mothers in our programs ask. And I also feel, given the fact that they come back and say, it takes me 1 hour to feed my child, it takes me 1 hour to put my child to sleep. And if you take all of these activities together, it takes away
I'm
the
saying
whole
take it
day.
away and you have a
So,
whole.
and you have the whole day. so, so, what are some of the habits you think which parents have, or maybe work? I don't know. I'm because the programs, we are largely focused and talking to working parents. But are the habits different for parents and, I mean, for non-working mothers and working mothers? Are the habits different? And what are these habits that they sometimes, you know, um, without realizing do, which is probably impacting the both the emotional and mental
So
well-being
these are
of
not
their child?
habits, Lochin. These are, again, as I said, misconceptions, myths.
Okay.
We believe that if we do not feed our child, if we do not help them study, if we do not help them play, if we do not help them do stuff in life, they, and I'll say something very harshly and very straight to people. We think that our children were born to destroy themselves. क्योंकि अगर मैंने नहीं बचाया ना तो वो तो पैदा ही अपने आप को डिस्ट्रॉय करने के लिए हुआ. And I, as a parent, has been brought up and given this beautiful responsibility by God or by that big blast theory, whatever you believe in, to save the child. I am the savior. If I am not there, they will not survive. Nothing like that. And by the way, I don't want to be sarcastic towards parents. That's what has been there for ages. Your
Yeah.
child does not need you. Your child is only born of you. Every human being who's born is born with unlimited potential. We say that, but we don't act on that. We say my child is born with unlimited potential. But now वो खाना अपने आप नहीं खा सकता. But now, oh, he's great. He can do anything. She can be great. She's brilliant. But she can't get up on her own. She can't study on her own. If they can do everything, what is studies all about? Yeah, is the life you're living right now a bigger test than this third, fourth, fifth, seventh, eighth, ninth class exam? It is. So if they can live life, which will be far more difficult, which will throw far more bigger exams at them versus a 2, 3 year old class. So you're not a savior. They're born with that. You only are a vehicle for them to come into this world. They're born through you. They're not born. They're not your property. So if you get that head off that it's my responsibility to bring them up, that is one line which every parent picks up, and every parent is doing that and does two things: spoils their own life and the child's life too, because they are not meant. Human beings were not meant to be doctored and tutored and like mothered like this. You're mothering them just.
Smothering
Yeah,
them also.
yeah. Well, mothering
Not
and
just
don't take it
mothering.
as gender. Even fathers are mothering them if they are.
Yeah.
So, in one line, if I want to define what is your role as a parent, and if people can just follow that, it'll be brilliant. Which is your job, your only job as a parent, is to make your child responsible for their life. They need to take over. You don't need to get it done. So I can tell you last 15, 17 years, daughter is 18 and son is 24. We haven't woken them up for school. We haven't asked them to take breakfast. We haven't even checked their copies, books, homework, exams, ever. He applied for his colleges. He went for. My daughter is doing it right now. She does it herself. The only thing she asked me is, Dad, can you afford this college? Can you pay this fees? I said, yes, go ahead. That's it. Have I checked any of her forms, any of her essays, anything? The answer is no. Has my wife done that? The answer is no. Till date. You get up, you make your own breakfast, eat it, go to school. If you don't want to, your choice. Stay back at home.
So when you say the child is born through you, you are a vehicle, right? And
Look, your voice is going a
the
bit
idea
low.
of parent,
थोड़ा सा ऊपर.
sorry. So I think when you say that child is born through you, right? So you are the vehicle, and your role is to make the child responsible for their own life. So, um, like in if you see other species, they typically the purpose is to get the offspring to become independent as soon as possible. It's effectively the same concept, but but for human beings, we don't want to. We want the child to be dependent on us even when they're 50. Um, but in that, what is the role of, let's say, the community and support system, especially in today's time when families are becoming more and more nuclear? There are also cases where there are single parents who are raising the child for either out of choice or not out of choice. So, what is the role of community, and who could be these people, if not a natural family? Who could be these people who could be part of that community?
Uh, Josie, we don't have a choice there. We don't have a choice of community, specifically right now. Because one of the things which you missed out
Okay,
saying, which you have zero control over, and right now, which is parenting the maximum. Guess?
the school.
Maximum impact.
Sorry,
And you have zero control over it.
are you referring to like social media and the internet? Okay.
Zero control. And it's increasing. You have a question about parenting, you Google. Your child has a question about math, science, social sciences, friends, boyfriend, sex, alcohol, they Google. So that's become the biggest parent. You can't choose it. So there was an age-old saying, and it's still true, that it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
And what does that village constitutes of? Let's first get what is that village? You, the parents, the siblings, the domestic support, the school, the teachers, the friends, the parents of their friends, your neighborhood, the thought behind your country, your thoughts of whatever is happening around, your relatives, your parents, your spouse's parents, your relatives, your friends who you meet and they're with them. So when you go out with your friends, they are together. Plus the social media, the internet, the Netflix and the Sony Lives and the Amazons and the Hotstars and everything. The advertisements. Every advertisement is projecting the child there. Whether you're buying a car or a paint or whatever. Even those are impacting your child's development. So can you manage all that? The cartoons they watch, the animes they watch,
Yeah. Yeah.
they learn their thoughts from there, their values from there, their language from there, everything. Right? So first let's get that the enormity of that village I'm talking about. And all of that is impacting your child. Now, can you manage it? The answer is no.
For sure.
There is
Yeah.
a
There's too
driver
much to
ferrying
manage.
your child from here to here. His communication with the driver
Yeah.
is parenting him. The driver
Yeah.
doesn't follow traffic routes, that's getting impacted. Driver uses language, that's
Hmm.
impacting him. What do you
Hmm.
do?
Hmm.
So, one, it's all of it. The primary role, if you really ask me, even if it's a single parent, or even if it's a caregiver, if a child
Hmm.
is in an orphanage, for example, the
Right.
primary
Yeah.
roles come for that primary caregiver, whether it could be a single mother, a single father, or both of them, or maybe parents are not there, grandparents are raising them. The impact that primary caregiver has is humongous.
Hmm.
Now, for example, my child is watching some series. Now, there could be great things coming from there, could be bad things coming from there. What if I just watch it
Yeah.
again with him, maybe one, or maybe not even watch it, have a chat with him or her. I said, you were watching this. How was it? Tell me the story. Talk about it. And you don't need time for it, by the way.
Hmm.
You can do this while you're getting them ready for school in the morning, or maybe dropping them to school, or just anywhere. You're
Yeah.
going for a daily chore and they're with you. You can just do a chat. I say, "यार, वो series देखी थी क्या लगा?" Understand what they are getting out
Hmm.
of it. Share your views about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's a beautiful communication which is happening about, okay, what have you picked up?
Hmm.
What is your thought development?
Right.
Okay, this is what I think.
Yeah.
And then having a conversation, okay, why is this a view, this a better view, that a better view, this is an empowering view, this is a disempowering view. And having that discussion, it's a 5 minute discussion, 10 minute discussion. And a
Hmm.
parent
Hmm.
will only get a time to do these discussions if they stop talking about homework हो गया, खाना खा लिया, सो गया, पढ़ लिया. ये छोड़ोगे तो वो आएगा ना.
Yeah. Correct.
So So you can't control the village. It's impossible. But you can definitely control the inputs which are going in because you're discussing about. One thing which I keep telling parents is that
Absolutely.
stop talking about mundane stuff. Yeah, they don't need you for their eating, sleeping, getting up, food, khana, padhai. छोड़ दो ये. Let's talk about real stuff in life. Yeah.
Hmm. Which is impacting their thinking, their values, their perspectives, everything, which is impacting. And what we also see is a lot of parents struggle with the fact that their children don't come and share things with them because the focus is always on like other factors which are probably more important, or in their mind it has been more important, and they realize that much later when the child is 15, 16, when they completely shut up, or shut in, or have shut them out in the process. So, I mean, I've very, 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 very interesting conversation, and I would love to like kind of have a longer session and conversation with you, and maybe even get some of my myths answered. But going back to the myths, I know you spoke about two myths specifically, but when you do, when you talk to parents, are there like some top three, four myths that you tell them these are myths and we need to bust
So we
them, or
don't
we
talk
need
to
to
here.
think of them
There's
differently?
lots and lots and lots and lots of them. But yes, the only game is about how do you break these myths.
Hmm.
और पेरेंट्स से अच्छा बच्चा छोटा भी समझेगा नहीं.
Hmm.
I said, another big one.
Hmm.
Be angry, be in a bad mood, like a bad, foul mood. When you're upset with somebody, you abuse somebody, you are angry, you're full of anger. Then go and try
Your
and pick
child
up
will.
your own child who's 3 months old. And you're in a
Hmm.
bad mood completely. And you just pick them up. 3 months old. What do you
Yeah.
think will happen? The child will cry. They will not come to your lap.
Hmm. Yeah.
Why? You didn't even speak. Your
Hmm.
aura and your vibes have gone, and at that age, they can pick that up like this.
Like
They
this. Yeah.
know that I can't go onto this person's lap. I need to go here. They will cry in that lap. And the minute somebody who's picks them up with complete love and care, they'll shut up. They'll ease up. तो 3 महीने का बच्चा अगर समझ सकता है तो फिर कोई नहीं समझ सकता है. So my child won't understand.
Mm.
Have you tried it? Or you assume? So
Mm.
their tongues like this.
Mm.
So the first thing which the first thing which I started doing for my own. So the book which we wrote about perfect parenting. Originally, the book's name was Learning from Your Child.
Mm.
It's a parenting book with a title Learning from Your Child. And I can tell
Mm.
you that's why my life altered when I became a parent. I suddenly realized that
Mm.
I don't need to teach him. I need to learn from him. A
Mm.
newborn child, I won't say newborn because you can't see all that stuff, but a child about 2.5, 3 year old.
Yeah.
If you see 2.5, 3 year old children running around anywhere, they could be in an orphanage, they could be anywhere in the world. They're happy.
Mm. Yeah.
You look at an adult, they're all stressed.
Grumpy.
All of them.
Mm.
So learn to be happy from them.
Mm.
They express themselves. If they're angry, they will say it out. If they're happy, they'll say it out. If they want to cry, they'll cry it out.
Mm.
They won't hide their feelings. They won't hide themselves behind a mask.
Mm.
What
Mm.
are adults
Mm.
doing? Always masking themselves.
Mm.
I don't want to be with you, but I will say, hi Loshan, how are you?
Mm.
And inside I'm saying,
Yeah.
get lost. A child will come to your face and say,
Correct.
Auntie, get lost.
And they may
Yeah,
just do this.
listen.
You know, like
They are
it's
fully
just a
expressed.
wave.
They are very happy. They want something, they don't give it up. If you don't give it to them, they'll go to anybody and make it happen.
Hmm.
They're full of love and care. They will go and give their
Hmm.
food to a dog on the road. यार ये बेचारा भूखा लग रहा है इसको खाने के लिए.
Hmm. Hmm.
So much of love and
Hmm.
care in them.
Hmm.
They will they will be playing together and they will fight with each other. And 10 minutes later they'll be playing with each other. They
Hmm.
get on with life like this. We have a
Hmm.
fight with somebody, we will swear that next time, all my life, next 5 lives I will not talk to you. And that could be my wife, that could be my
Yeah.
brother. We cut them off for life.
Hmm. Correct.
तुम कौन होते हो उनको सिखाने वाले यार? You should learn from them. They have life. You don't. So reverse the order. And I'm just talking about 4, 5 elements. There are far many more elements which, if you just turn it around and say, okay, fine, let me learn from them.
From my child. Let me learn from a child, not just even mine, so.
अपने से ही सीख लोगे काफी.
No, no, I mean, अपना नहीं है तो किसी और के बच्चे से भी सीख
Learn
सकते
from a
हो.
child. Absolutely, yeah. And I'll give you a small incident, okay? I opened up my life like crazy. So I was teaching Aman how to crawl, and everybody does it like this, okay? आके crawling सिखाना ही है ना बच्चे को. So they used to be at that point of time. We used to even that we used to use those rattlers. Parents don't use rattlers
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
They
yeah,
use the
correct.
phone. And then this is the phone पे अरे यार rattler use करो ना phone पे use कर दो सस्ता भी है.
हाँ,
So I used to
correct.
keep a rattler. He used to take 2, 3, 4 minutes, force himself somehow reach the rattler. And then I used to pick up the rattler and put it another 5 inches away from him. He used to do this again and then pick it up again. And he used to laugh at me, like he would smile at me
Mm.
and do it again.
Mm.
Now, 5 minutes later, I realized he's doing all the effort. And the 2 month old takes a lot of effort to do that, even few inches. He's
Yeah.
making such a big effort and reaching his place, what he wants. And I'm removing it. And he's smiling
Mm.
at me. And he's also not giving it up. He's doing it again. I said, do this to an adult.
Second time you'll be like
He will
beating
beat
you
him
up
up में भाग में
for
मुझे नहीं
removing
चाहिए.
their reward.
रख अपने पास. You need to learn how not to give up in your life from that 3 month old child,
Mm.
not from an adult.
Mm.
Don't go to gurus and say, how do I learn to not give up? Bullshit. Go to a 3 month old.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
nature. It's natural. They're there.
And you're
Those
learning from
small
them.
young children who do not have anything to eat are standing on the streets begging. They come to you and beg. You say, get lost. They come back again. They hear no 500 times, but do they give up? Learn from them how not to give up. So I think I broke a
So,
few, three, four, five, six, 7 minutes right now. So there are tons of them. There are tons. This is a never-ending list.
so speaking of learning, and this will be my last question to you, saying, is, and I know you're, I won't say you're full of advices or any of that, because that just goes away with the concept of coaching in itself. But if there is like an something that you can share as a lesson or a perspective to young parents, working parents, women especially, who are on that journey and saying, oh my god, do I need to like let go of my life and career, or parents who are feeling anxious, all of these categories of people, if there is one perspective that you would want to share with them.
Something beyond what I've already said.
Yes, something beyond what you've already shared.
Okay. So when you become a parent, would anxieties come when your child falls? Will you will you be hurt? Will you feel the hurt? The answer is yes. When somebody says something to your child or you for your upbringing, will it be devastating? The answer is yes. Will you feel all that stuff? Stressed, depressed, frustrated, anxiety, helpless. Tell yourself that it's okay to feel like that. It's absolutely normal. Having a child is like seeing your heart running outside your body, and that's not easy. So seeing that the most delicate part of your life, of your body, and the most important part of your body is running outside your body. गिर ना जाए कुछ हो ना जाए you're anxious all the time, and that anxiety will not go anywhere. So the good news is it will not go anywhere. Don't do anything about it. Be with it. The only day it will go will when you leave Earth. Before that, it's not going to go. Even on the last day, on the last minute of your life, you will tell your child, take care of yourself. तू खुश रहियो, ठीक है? तो वो तो कभी नहीं खत्म होगी. So whenever you feel all that stuff, just make it normal. That make it okay for yourself. That it's okay to go through this, and there is a way out. You don't have to compromise for anything in your life. Even if you sit back and think about it, okay, if I'm not ready to compromise, I don't want to compromise. How can I do both? How can my child have a
Yeah.
great life and I can have a great life and my family can have a great life? All of it is possible. There is way out there. Seek. Don't give up. This is normal.
Awesome. Thank you. I love the word that you're just leaving with, saying seek. So seek, um, the skills, um, the information, I won't say information because it's out there, but seek the skills that's needed to manage this anxiety for as long as you're alive. um, and thank you, that was amazing. I loved this conversation, Sushant. Thank you so much for this. um, Very different perspectives, interesting perspectives, a lot of my own myths broken in the process as well, and a lot of concerns are also which we hear from other women, mothers especially. Um our endeavor, of course, is to ensure that we support them as much as possible so that their careers remain uninterrupted throughout their life if they choose to. Um, but that's where we really are here, and that's what we want to do. And very, very happy that we could have this conversation with you and bring that perspective in for
And
them
thanks
as
for
well.
doing this and taking it away. And let's see if the more people we can reach to and impact. It's about
Yeah,
women. It's about their families. It's about children. You will find Parwarish always ready for that anytime.
absolutely. Thank you so much. Here's to ensuring more careers remain uninterrupted. And thank you so much for this conversation, Sushant. Lovely having you here.